Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome back. I hope that you are all well. And if you are new, thanks so much for checking out my channel. Please hit subscribe and stick around. Today I am so excited to finally be sharing this tag with you. This is the first tag that I have done as a collaboration, and I'm doing this with my bestest BookTube buddy, AJ from AJ Dunn Reads and Writes. I will leave a link to AJ's channel and their tag video below. AJ and I started BookTube around the same time, and we tend to read similar books and have similar tastes. AJ was a rock star when we started talking about doing this tag, and it was inspired because I have done a few book pairings, and AJ has done a Shake-Timber play and novel pairing. So we decided to do the Think Twice book tag. And I'm hoping that these prompts will be fun for anyone who wants to do this tag and give it a try. So let's get started with these prompts. Number 1 is Double Vision, a book that features twins. For this, I am going to share Butter Honey Pig Bread by Francesca Equiasi. This is a debut novel that takes place both in Nigeria and in Canada, and it is narrated by Kambiri Nachi and her twin daughters Kehinde and Tay. And we learn that Kambiri Nachi believes she is a Ogbanji, I think it's called, and that means a spirit born that plagues the family by dying in childhood and then being reborn. And she decides to live, and she falls in love and raises her 2 daughters. And growing up, Kehinde and Tay are very close, as twins tend to be, until a trauma occurs that begins to separate them. And Kehinde and Tay both leave, Kehinde to Montreal and Tay to Halifax. And their lives are very different, but they each experience similar things because of their childhood. Guilt and loneliness, rejection and love. And this book covers a lot of topics, it's very vivid, and the language is quite beautiful. Number 2 is Double Talk, a book with 2 or twice in the title. And for this, I am going with Two-Headed Poems by Margaret Atwood. Not only does the title of the book make sense for this prompt, but really the entire collection. The poems in this collection kind of go, I think, with the theme. So the title poem is inspired by Siamese twins. There is also a mirror type of idea in that the first half of the book in many ways mirrors the second half of the book. Many of the poems have a duality to them or 2 parts. The third prompt is Seeing Double, a book with a reflection, shadow, or mirror images on the cover. So for this, I had a few to choose from. But I'm going to go with a book that I actually haven't read yet, and that is Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. You can see that the rows on the cover, it seems to almost be continuous, but it is actually a mirror image. If you were to fold it in half, it would match. So this is also a reminder to me that I really need to read this book. Prompt number 4 is Take 2, 2 book covers that look similar but are by different authors. And for this prompt, I wanted to find different publishers as well, because I know sometimes it seems to me like publishers will lean in a certain direction when it comes to their cover styles. So I chose The Skin We're In by Desmond Cole, and I also chose The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. So I still need to read both of these, but these are similar in that they both use a lot of different colors. There are silhouettes of people's faces. I think both of these covers are really striking and they catch your eye. Number 5 is I Second That, a retelling. And every time I think about retellings, I am reminded of the first retelling I remember reading, and that is Briar Rose by Jane Yolen. This is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty that I had to read when I took a children's literature class when I was in university. I didn't even know that retellings were a thing, and I didn't have really big expectations for this, but I ended up really enjoying it, and it's a book that I may have to revisit one day. Number 6 is Two Can Play at That Game. This is a character who plays 2 roles or has an alter ego. And I think I know what AJ will pick for this prompt, and it's a really good one. So I am going to choose another character that we both really like, and that is Joe Goldberg from the You series by Caroline Kepnes. Joe Goldberg is the perfect boyfriend, the perfect guy. He's smart, he's funny, he knows just what to say at the right time. He works in a bookstore. I mean, like, what's not to like? Of course, he's also a psychopath, a stalker, and a killer. So there's that. And even knowing all of that, I can't help but like this guy. Prompt number 7 is It Takes Two, a duology. And for this, I have Maokai and Daughter of Maokai by Alan Brennert. Maokai is one of my favorite all-time books. This is a historical fiction novel about Rachel Kalama, who at the age of only 17 finds out that she has leprosy, and she is sent away from her family to Maokai to live with other lepers. She's taken from her family, and all of her dreams for her life are over, but she then finds a new family and a new life. And Daughter of Maokai is the story of Rachel's daughter, Ruth. Ruth had been adopted to a Japanese family, and one day she receives a letter from her birth mother. And we find out about Rachel's life and what ended up happening with Rachel as well. So if you are a fan of Maokai, this is worth a read, but I will say that I did like the first one a lot better. Prompt number 8 is On the Double, a book told in 2 timelines. So I'm going to go with The Masterpiece by Fiona Davis for this one. Clara is 25 in 1928, and she is a talented artist. She becomes an art teacher at Grand Central Station in New York City, and she has to deal with many people who, don't think that women have a place in art, especially as a teacher. And then Virginia, in 1974, gets a job at the information booth in Grand Central Station. And she finds a painting that was done by an artist who disappeared in 1931. And Virginia begins to find out more about this artist, and they are connected in unexpected ways. Next, number 9, A Perfect Pair, the last 2 books you gave 5 stars to. So this one is easy. The last 2 books that I gave 5 stars to were Red Comet by Heather Clark, which is huge, and it's a biography of Sylvia Plath, and it is very well researched, very detailed. I think it also did its job because I have more respect for Plath as a writer, and I want to read more of her work now. And then I also gave 5 stars to City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert, which is a novel that takes place in New York City, beginning in the 1940s. This is a kind of a coming-of-age story of Vivian Morris, who goes to live with her aunt in Manhattan when she is 19, and she learns all about the theater life and what true love is. So these were both very different books, but both excellent in their own way. Prompt number 10 is Two for the Show, a book that has been adapted to film 2 or more times. So for this, I have to go with my favorite Canadian classic, Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. This has been adapted many times. The movie with Megan Follows is the movie which will always have a very special place in my heart. But there's also many others like Anne, Journey to Green Gables. It's been adapted into several other series like Anne of Avonlea and Anne with an E, and I'm pretty sure that we will probably see more adaptations in the future as well. At number 11 is Two's Company, a book with 2 or more authors or a translated fiction book. And I'm going to go with Girls with Bright Futures by Tracy Dobmeyer and Wendy Katzman. This is a dark academia book about what people will go through in order to make sure that their children will get into the top schools, and how it can go sideways very quickly. And the final prompt is double take. Recommend 2 books you think would pair well together and tell us why. So since I'm doing a series on this, I actually have quite a few potential pairings, and I will share one that I'm still considering it, and that is Satellite Love by Genki Ferguson and Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. So my main reason for pairing these, if I do, is because they both have aspects of other worlds in some way. They are both about relationships, and they both have a relationship between a human and non-human in them. So this might be a pairing that I will do in the future. We will see. So those are the prompts for this tag. I hope you liked the idea of pairings and doubles. It was a lot of fun putting together. AJ and I are going to tag a number of people just to get this tag started. We are going to tag Brian at Bookish, Sandy at Miss Reads a Lot, Shelley at Shelley Swearingen's Library, Fraser at Fraser Simon's Springboard Thought, Roz from Scallydangling About the Books, Hannah at Hannah's Books, Ollie at Criminali, Anne at Anne with a Book, Bob at Bob the Bookerer, Jim at Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff, Gemma from Gem of Books, Kristen at Enter the Book, Karen at Roving Reader, and Eric from his channel, Eric Carl Anderson. So if you are up to doing this tag, we would love to see what you can come up with for your answers. Thanks again to AJ for doing this tag with me. It was a lot of fun, and thank you to all of you for watching. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.